In the spring of 1944, deep in the heart of Berlin, German intelligence officers huddled over maps, intercepted messages, and aerial photos. Their focus wasn't on Eisenhower's Supreme Command or Montgomery's relentless advance across North Africa. It was fixed on one man, George S. Patton. More resources poured into tracking his whereabouts than any other Allied leader. Field Marshal Gerd von Rundstedt, commanding German forces in the West, demanded every scrap of information on Patton's location. Why? Because Patton didn't just fight wars, he terrified those who faced him. The Germans first crossed paths with Patton in November 1942, during Operation Torch in North Africa. Leading the Western Task Force, he stormed ashore in Morocco with 35,000 troops, America's boldest ground assault yet against the Axis. German observers watched closely, dissecting enemy commanders for flaws. What they saw unnerved them. Patton moved with blinding speed, defying the stereotype of cautious American advances, backed by endless firepower. In just 3 days, he seized Casablanca and forced the French surrender. Troops advanced at a pace that shattered expectations. Field Marshal Albert Kesselring, overseeing the Mediterranean, demanded deeper intel. Who was this general? His background, his mindset. Reports revealed a man obsessed with German tactics, fluent in their military classics, who had walked World War I battlefields where panzers nearly broke through. Patton grasped German, thinking instinctively better than many German officers themselves. By February 1943, Rommel's forces smashed through American lines at Kasserine Pass, Tunisia's humiliating defeat for U.S. troops. Green soldiers fled in chaos. Germans waited to see the response. Retreat. Purge commanders. Crumble. In March, Patton assumed command of the battered Second Corps. What followed stunned Axis monitors. In weeks, he forged a fighting force from broken units. Panic turned to aggression. Discipline surged. Morale soared. Probes hit German lines with unheard-of fury. Rommel noted in private correspondence how American troops had grown dangerously bold overnight, not from new gear, but a new leader. July 1943 brought the invasion of Sicily. Montgomery's 8th Army was slated to spearhead the drive to Messina, with Patton's 7th Army guarding the flank. Patton had bolder visions. His forces tore across western Sicily, outpacing anything the Allies had achieved. Ground covered in days what others took weeks. Germans evacuating across the Strait of Messina raced against an unexpected foe. Withdrawal plans unraveled into desperation as Patton threatened to sever their escape. He beat Montgomery to Messina, covering hundreds of miles through fierce resistance in mere weeks. Post-battle reports mixed awe and dread. Patton commanded like a panzer leader, exploiting gaps instantly, risking what US doctrine forbade. He thought like a German, and that chilled them. Yet triumph nearly unraveled in August 1943. Visiting field hospitals, Patton encountered soldiers broken by combat fatigue. Viewing them as shirkers, he slapped 2 in separate incidents. Raging against perceived cowardice. News reached Eisenhower, igniting fury. Leaks sparked outrage. Calls mounted to sack him. German intelligence watched eagerly, hoping America would sideline its sharpest blade. Eisenhower reprimanded severely but kept him. Germans noted this warily. Allies prized Patton too much to discard him. He must be reserved for something monumental. Early 1944 found Patton sidelined in England, no active troops under him. Germans obsessed over his position. He couldn't command the obvious invasion forces, so he must lead the primary thrust. They concluded his Phantom 1st U.S. Army Group aimed at Pas-de-Calais, the Channel's shortest crossing. It was all illusion. Dummy tanks, fake radio chatter, plywood headquarters. Operation Fortitude's masterpiece succeeded because Germans believed Patton's presence signaled the real blow. Reserves fortified Calais. Defenses thickened there. They waited. June 6, 1944. Normandy landings struck 150 miles southwest. Hitler and staff hesitated. Was this diversion? Prelude to Patton's Calais assault. Von Rundstedt urged, unleashing panzers to crush the beachhead. Orders stalled. For weeks, elite divisions idled near Pas-de-Calais, awaiting a ghost attack. That delay proved fatal. By August 1st, Patton unleashed the Third Army in Normandy. Fears materialized. In days, his forces surged farther than Allies had in months. Brittany fell. Swings toward Paris sliced German lines. Defenses crumbled. Supply routes vanished. Headquarters scattered. Field Marshal Gunther von Kluge wired Berlin in despair. Third Army was omnipresent, always ahead. Mid-August offered apocalypse at Falaise. Retreating Germans funneled through a narrow gap. Patton drove north to seal it. Canadians and Poles south. The pocket closed. Panic seized trapped forces. Vehicles abandoned. Men fled on foot. Losses catastrophic. Tens of thousands captured. Thousands dead. Irreplaceable tanks and guns lost. Survivors called it worse than Stalingrad. No preparation time. Patton allowed none. Post-war interrogations revealed consistency. Montgomery, predictable, methodical. Bradley, solid but cautious. Patton, unpredictable, relentless, perilous. Von Rundstedt confessed him the most feared. General Fritz Bayerlein of Panzerlehr hailed his panzer instincts. They admired Rommel's boldness. Patton mirrored it faster, deadlier. December 1944. Hitler's Ardennes gambles surprised allies. Americans reeled, Bastogne encircled. Eisenhower convened crisis talks, counterattack timelines, weeks. Patton, 48 hours. 3 divisions, full assault. Skepticism, rifle possible pivot in winter. But Patton anticipated contingencies ready. One call mobilized 250,000 men, thousands of vehicles over ice. Germans expected delay. Patton struck their flank. Bastogne relieved, December 26. The Bulge halted. Interrogated later, many Germans blamed overconfidence in Allied slowness. They never adjusted to Patton's velocity from Africa to Ardennes. Underestimation cost dearly. Why this fear? Patton embodied German ideals. Speed, aggression, exploitation. Blitzkrieg's essence, internalized through decades studying their doctrine. Yet he outdid them and bound, by caution, allies imposed elsewhere. Predictability eluded him. Violence arrived swiftly. Von Rundstedt summed it post-war. Patton, supreme in mobile war. Offensive master, the Allied commander Germans dreaded most, from North African sands to Ardennes snows. Patton earned that dread one lightning thrust, one impossible triumph at a time. Facing a mirror of their style, only superior, Germans learned terror's taste,